Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today we're going on an armed convoy attack mission, and the game gives you a couple of options. You can build either a battle cruiser, heavy cruisers, or light cruisers. And I'm saying heavy battle cruiser, singular, because if you really put all your eggs in one basket, you can go for one very powerful ship, or if you like to spread out your risks a bit more, go for a couple of smaller ones. The enemy fleet is pretty substantial. It's 2 battleships, although they are pre-Dreadnoughts, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, a second light cruiser, and a bunch of transports. My mission here is to sink all the transports, so those need to be my priority. I have a time limit of 60 minutes, which should be enough to fire and kill a couple of unarmed transports, although these of course will not make the job easy. Bonuses: guns and fire control, shells and torpedoes, maneuverability and survivability, or just plain more cash. I'm going to go for torpedoes and shells, because I want to be putting a whole lot of torpedo tubes on this cruiser. It's a bit unusual to go for a cruiser of this design, but that's the beauty of Ultimate Admiral. You can build whatever the hell you want. Now here in hull type, in the previous missions I only had really one choice. Now you really have quite a few. I can go for a battle cruiser, an armored cruiser, a semi-armored cruiser 2, or even a light cruiser. I'm going to go for a battle cruiser. I like these things big. Displacement, all the way up, 22,500 tons. This is going to be one big ship. Right now the game tells me I can build 2 battle cruisers, but that is prior to adding all sorts of gadgets and gizmos to this ship. So the chances of me actually getting 2 battle cruisers are really slim. I'm going to go for the maximum tier of towers, funnels and everything, just to get the most firepower on this ship. And the most aiming bonuses at that. So let's throw the tower on there. The secondary tower is going to be the rear tower 6. It has better aiming speed and better base accuracy than the other towers. So I much prefer this one. Let's put that over there. Then we have the funnels. And before I go for funnels, I'm first going to fix my propulsion. I now have access to turbines, and this is very handy because it gives you a lot more horsepower per ton. And sure enough, your engine cost goes up by 350%, but your weight of the engine goes down. That's important. So yes, I am quite a bit more expensive now, but so be it. I can switch my coal to semi-oil, which gives me more floatability, less fuel stowage, more fuel cost, but also less ammo detonation chance. So let's go for this. Then we have the option to go for natural boilers, which are just the standard ones, less funnel capacity. Induced, a whole lot more funnel capacity, but also more funnel cost and a bit more weight over the hull and the boilers. Or forced, 135% funnel capacity. I usually go for forced, because this allows me to put fewer funnels and still get good engine efficiency. Then we have auxiliary engine. An auxiliary marine engine which uses petrol as fuel helps to keep the ship operational when the main engine is down. Additionally, the system provides extra power to the turret rotation mechanism. Since I'm going to be circling around other ships, I think that this is pretty damn handy. And then the propeller shafts. I can only go for shaft 1. Which gives me a less of a speed penalty, better acceleration and better turning rate. So yes, please. Speed I think is good enough. I don't really need to go any further than 30 knots. I'm going to drag my distance, so my range to very short, because fuel is not a problem on these Naval Academy ops. Bulkheads to standard. I am going to be taking fire, and probably a lot of it. Protection. I'm going to go with the best armor that I can field, which is the Krupp Armor 2. Less armor weight, more armor cost, but also 80% more armor strength. So this not only makes it lighter, but also stronger. And of course, yes, you're paying for that. Barbettes. I'm not even sure if I'm going to go with barbettes. So let's set up the guns first, and then see if that is something that I want to go with. Main guns, center lines. I can field 13 inchers at the best. Let's go for 2 barrels. If I were to put that here, I don't think I can still put a barbette behind it. Oh, I can. Just a medium barbette, I think. Yeah, the superimposed does not work, the big one. So we're going to go for the smaller one. And down here, you don't really have a slot to put one of those down. Maybe if you remove this, you could do it. But then you're still struggling with where do I put my island. So this potentially could work. Let's see what happens if I put a gun on there. I very much doubt that I can put a 13-inch gun on that. No, that doesn't work. 12? Nope. 11? Nope. 10-inch guns? Nope. Damn. Okay, 9-inch gun. There we go. Finally, I can put a 9-inch gun down. Alright, now I know more or less where that gun's gonna go. So now I can put this secondary tower down. Then, I still want a main centerline gun on the stern. Like that. Okay, so that's my guns. Oh, and I still need to have a main gun centerline 9-inch. There. So now I got 4 13-inchers and 4 9-inchers. So now I do have barbettes. That's those things that raise the turret off the deck. They do give me more of a target structure, so it's easier to hit. I'm going to go with a standard barbette thickness to make sure that I'm not as easily detonatable, if that's a word. Torpedo protection. Yes, I will take anti-torpedo belt 1. This will add a little bit to hull weight, but also reduce the flooding chance and torpedo damage. Hull then, I can go for single hull or a double hull. This gives me more resistance, also more hull weight of course, but again less torpedo damage. Standard bulkheads? No, I will take reinforced. I suspect that this ship is going to take a lot of fire. Anti-flooding mechanisms. Anti-flooding allows you to pump out water when a ship has taken a torpedo hit. I'm not expecting one, because usually if I fight at longer ranges, you should be able to see the torpedoes coming and then take evasive action. So I'm going to go for just anti-flood 1 instead of anti-flood 2. And then the Citadel. This allows me a little bit more resistance, less engine damage chance and less ammo detonation. And I'm going to go for the tier 2. So underwater protected deck 2 is going to add to my armor costs, but it reduces the chance of my engine being damaged. And that's the last thing I want to have happen. I do not want to be a sitting duck. Shells. Well, I'm taking down a couple of transport ships, and then whatever the hell else I can kill. I'm just going to go for standard shells. I don't really need heavies or even super heavies. These would be very handy if you're trying to penetrate something which is way above your weight class, because it adds 12.5% shell penetration. Right now that's not really what I need, so I'm just happy with the standard shells. Black powder explosives. I can pick any one of these that I like. They don't have, as far as I've been able to tell, any real clear linear bonuses. So it's not like this is tier 1 and this is tier 10. That's not how it works. Gun cotton gives you more shell damage, more HE damage, but also more ammo detonation chance. And the chance of being set on fire yourself is greater. Ballastite gives you more gun range, more shell damage, more shell cost, ammo detonation chance. Lyddite 1. Super high explosive, mainly composed from picric acid. Ultra powerful as an explosive charge, but highly sensitive, causing shells to often detonate upon impact before penetrating the armor. So this again makes your HE chance very, very good, or your HE shell damage. But aside from that, you're sacrificing a lot of shell penetration. This could work. Actually, it could work. Because I'm just trying to take down a couple of transports, which are unarmored anyway. Lyddite 2 is pretty similar, but less sensitive to premature detonation. So it's this sort of slimmer version of the Lyddite 1, which sacrifices less shell penetration and also does less HE damage. White powder. Smokeless powder, otherwise known as poudre B, is a highly effective material to use either as an explosive charge or a propellant, and safer in storage conditions than earlier gunpowder. Shell cost goes up by 300%, but all the other bonuses are just pretty decent. Cordite 1 is manufactured in a thin cylindrical or cord form and is classed as a low explosive. So when used as a propellant, it reduces the muzzle velocity compared to high explosive propellants, but is much safer to use. Additionally, it needs more material to function adequately as an explosive charge, making shells heavier, plus 400% shell cost. And because the shells are heavier, you're losing out on gun range. Not exactly what I'm looking for. Cordite 2, improved version of Cordite. Tube powder, advanced smokeless propellant similar to the Cordite, which is also known as RP, Rohrpulver. It has the form of small tubes, making the reload process a little faster, and offers maximum safety in storage conditions. Due to being a low explosive, shell muzzle velocity and range is decreased, while the incendiary capability is greatly reduced. So your chances of detonating are far less, your shell damage is going up a little bit, you're reloading faster, but shell range is reduced, HE damage is reduced, shell cost is going up again. TNT. 800% shell cost, more HE damage, more chances of fire on yourself. And finally, high TNT, plus 1000% shell cost. More HE damage, more shell penetration, and less hull weight. I think that the HE thing, Lyddite 1, is pretty interesting with the HE, but I really don't like that 37.5% chance of ammo detonation. Lyddite 2 might be a little better, but I still have it flat 25%. And anything that says you have a chance to detonate is something that I really, really don't like. So I think white powder could be a good candidate because it does not give me any detonation chance. In fact, it gives me a bonus to detonation chance. So I'm sacrificing, or I'm suffering less chances to accidentally blow up the whole ship. This is even better. Yeah, we're going to go for white powder. Hydraulic turrets? No, I shall take the electro-hydraulic turrets. 35% turret traverse speed bonus. But you're sacrificing a little bit of weight. Well, that's not a problem because I have a displacement currently of 16,000 tons out of potential 22.5. So that's fine. Standard reloading? No, I'll take enhanced. Again, you're sacrificing weight. You're also sacrificing a bit of gun accuracy, but I much prefer that additional 10% reload. I'll touch on the torps in a second. First, I want to have a good rangefinder. The rangefinder, stereoscopic rangefinder 2, gives you more gun aiming speed and long-range gun accuracy. The coincidence rangefinder gives you more aiming speed and a little bit more base accuracy, but does not have to do much with the long range. Since I want to stay at long range, I think the stereoscopic rangefinder is my better choice. And then radio. This is not really important because I know where the enemy is. An improved device increases the maximum communication range. I believe that this is between your own ships, and since I only have one battlecruiser, I don't need any. Okay, then the torpedoes, because this was going to be a sort of torpedo-throwing battlecruiser. I'm going to go for a couple of X5 deck tubes, and I can put these off on the side. Now, in the current version of the game, you put these things down on, that is, if I have mirror mode enabled. You put them, you put them down on both sides. Where was that? Also mirror. You put them down on both sides, but the game seems to treat them a little weird, in the sense that you think you have your torpedoes from the port side launched, but the game also resets the counter for the torpedoes on the other side. So I could go for a starboard torpedo run, and the port torpedoes will also seem to have fired, which is not what is happening. You could consider it a bug or unintended side effect. I'm not exactly sure what's happening there, but I hope it's going to get fixed pretty soon. Now, I still have a lot of weights to play around with, and since we are trying to hit a convoy, this is going to get all sorts of fun, because this is 5 torpedo tubes per launcher times 5 per side. So I can send out a torpedo salvo of 25 torpedoes. I'm going to go with the standard torp propulsion. I don't really need any particular range or stealth value on that. And torpedo size, 15-inch, I think is good enough. If I can just inflict flooding damage on most of those ships, that'd be perfect. Now that gives me still a lot of displacement and a lot of weight, a lot of cost to play around with. And that I'm going to invest in an armor belt. This is the only ship I have. So it has to survive. This is a cruiser now which has a 10-inch armor belt. I can go with the belt extended. See, the belt I think moves to about here. And the belt extended is on the bow and the stern. So that's this part and this part. And my stern does contain a turret. So I also want that to be pretty heavily armored. Deck does need to be a little armored because I am potentially going to be receiving plunging fire. Deck extended, 1.5 inch. Conning tower's fine, turret's fine. Turret top I can add a little bit, but I'm really running close to my cost. I think this will do. Armor qualities plus 80%. I think the belt and the belt extended are critical here. Yeah, I can go for a 5-inch belt extended and a 10-inch belt. Alright. Let's go and... oh, shit. Funnels. Yes. It would be a nice way to have some sort of funnel on the ship. Fortunately, you can put these things where they don't necessarily take up a lot of deck space. How is my funnel efficiency? 80%. That's actually quite good. That's really good. So if I reduce the armor extended belt a little bit... yep, that's good enough. Now, my weight is still a little much. I could slide this down. But if I do it too much, it just takes a section of the ship away. And that wouldn't be good. Because that means that I'm going to be losing out on firepower. Could I get this back in speed? I can, but do I really need 30 knots? I don't think so. I would rather then, once again, invest a little bit more in armor. 6-inch extended, 9.5-inch belt. Let's go for a bit more deck armor. There. Engine efficiency 86.5%, funnel capacity 57.6, so apparently that's almost good enough. I get a little bit more acceleration bonus, but I'm suffering at high RPM from a little bit less torque. Okay, let's take this thing out to war. Again, the priority are those transports. So that's the only thing that I really need to be focusing on. It's a Spanish battlecruiser versus a small group from the German Empire. It's going to take a little bit of time to actually identify what I'm shooting at. Range is 6.6, which, even if I haven't identified the ships yet, I'm already getting a 9.3% accuracy, which is pretty damn good. I'm going to slow this down to full speed, because it gives me an accuracy bonus, and there we go. That is my massive swarm of torps, which are all happily swimming towards the target. Now, to highlight what I mentioned when I was building the ship, I just sent out a torpedo salvo from the starboard tubes. That's this whole salvo. This is 25 torpedoes. The torpedo reload indicator is reset, so I'm reloading for another 600 seconds. The thing is, I also have torpedo launchers on the port side. And the game seems to completely sidestep that issue and just goes, yeah, no, we're going to discount those. Whereas, if I really wanted to, I could do a very hard turn starboard and potentially send out my port torpedo tubes, so my port launchers. But for some reason the game just does not allow you to do that. Maybe it's balance, maybe it's a bug, I'm not sure. It's going to take a little bit of time to identify and actually find those ships. So let's hope that those torpedoes are going to swarm out a little bit more. Because the more they spread, the better the chances of actually hitting something. If I got 5 of them like this, it's even 6 of them on a very small trajectory, it's not very useful. That's my accuracy. 14%. On something which I haven't even identified yet. Now I am quite curious to see what sort of range these guys have on their guns. And what sort of penetration. So I know what sort of range to stay at. Let's speed it up to ×3. I'm going to keep my own ship steady for the moment. Taking a little bit of structural damage. Still working on identification. Oh, there's another one behind him. Is that a transport? No, that's definitely not a transport. That's a cruiser. Torpedoes are about to arrive. And if this, what is currently identified as a potential battle cruiser, would speed up, he could take quite a salvo. At least this battleship's going to get hit by, I think, 2 of them. 69% identification, 32, 75. Here come the first torpedoes. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits on a still yet to be identified ship. Which might be a battle cruiser. It might be a battleship. At the very least, it is not doing very well. There you go. We have sunk an unknown battlecruiser. At the very least, I know it is not a friendly battlecruiser. Now, these are my priority. Oh, it was an actual battleship as well. Okay, this one has been identified. I am currently... I'm using a belt armor of 10 inches. Or 9... No, it was 9 something. Where are you? Unfortunately, the game does not tell you that, I think. Anyway. This battleship, this one, the Wetten, has a penetration at 1,000 meters of 6.4 inches. So, only at 2.5 kilometers range, I'm going to get in trouble. Anything greater than that, and I should be fine. Working over the first transport now. I need to get a little closer, I think. Because I'm still not seeing the other transports. The torpedoes, I'm going to turn these off for the moment. Cargo destroyed. The thing took a lot of structural damage and is burning in a lot of different compartments. The Maria Isabel has taken some damage. Seems to be mostly structural. That cruiser could be a problem. More cargo destroyed. Is the captain dead? What is that? Conning tower damaged. Well, I don't think that that's too much of a problem for a ship which does not have any guns on it. Taking a bit more damage here and there. I want to send a torpedo salvo towards that battleship. Normal. Torpedoes away. Resume firing on the transport. And make a sharp turn port. Reason being is that this heavy cruiser is coming a little too close for comfort. I'm going to prioritize him for the moment. And let that swarm take out what I hope to be that battleship and potentially that, what is that, light cruiser? Transport behind it. These do look good. It's like you cross a heavy cruiser with a Shimakaze from World of Warships. Whole load of torpedo tubes and just watch the fun. And this is an area in which battleships are really not that well defended against torpedoes. Look at that. 4 inbound. Wetten takes massive damage. The transport, unfortunately, seems to escape unharmed. But if I can take down the battleship, that'd be perfect. Because then I don't have to contend with those large guns firing back at me. Finish this one off. Oh, it's fighting it. 6%, 5%, 4%. You might need to help him along a little. 3%, 2%. 1%, flooding, dead. Okay, so that's more accidental than anything else that I sunk 2 battleships. Go for the TR Star over here. We're down to 72%. And I'm on fire. This is not great. I'm also being boxed in. I got a cruiser behind me and 2 lights in front of me who are using their smokescreen to make themselves much harder to hit. The transports are the priority. I can stay afloat and ignore the others. Hopefully for a little while longer. Hold on, did I get hit by a torpedo? If I did, then it didn't penetrate. Perfect. Alright, this one seems to have enough issues. I'm going to send torpedoes at these light cruisers over on my starboard. Fire set. Accuracy is leaving something to be desired at 14%, 15%, 3.5 kilometers as well. This cruiser is now at a range of 5.2 kilometers. And at 5 kilometers it can penetrate 2.8 inches of belt armor or 0.3 inches of deck armor. Which this ship does have on both accounts. So it's not like it's entirely impervious, because those ships can still set fires. But at the very least they're going to have a little bit more trouble doing just that. There goes the Star. Next is the Brendryen. What's your speed? Top speed 21 knots. Top speed 24 knots. I'm a hell of a lot faster than that. I'm going to be sacrificing a little bit of accuracy for more speed, so I can maintain my distance. Good damage there. Inflicted some flooding. Inflicted a whole bunch of structural damage. Where are the other transports though? Because I can see this one. I can see a dead one. And there's another one which is trying to limp away over there. Let's move to intercept. But is that all of them? Alright, since I have torpedoes, target this ship. Send the torpedoes out. Accuracy's low. Go for an aggressive salvo. Yep, just send them out. Perfect. Oh! You went for the... Oh, that might be a little bit overkill. I know we want that transport dead, but sending 25 torpedoes after one transport is a little overkill. That's a bit much. Still, they might dodge it. Nah, they might not. Good day. He's down. Alright, next up. Over there. Oh, hello. There's another transport running away. They seem to be running away to the northeast. Pursue and disable. It seems that the enemy only has their CLs left and a heavy cruiser somewhere in the back. But this battle cruiser of mine is so fast that I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem to just outrun them. And in the meanwhile, gun down these transports. Structural damage is 68, but I have not taken any actual damage to my engines, conning tower, guns, nothing. Unlike this transport over here, who is really taking the brunt of the damage. He's flooding. He has a fire on most of his stern compartments. I think his rudder's been disabled. Conning tower's damaged, and he is gone. Next, we have the Irene and the Danzig. 5%. That should be going up fast, because it also works with your gunners. So the gunners fire, then the ship says, hey, did that hit? No? Okay, we're going to adjust a little bit. And it just keeps doing that. Fire set. The big question though, is that the last one of them? These two. Is that the last of the transports? Because I really hope so. But I'm not sure. 26% accuracy. Maybe I can slow down a little bit more. But do I really need to? Oh, hold on. The Irene is able to return fire. It is a 4-inch and a 2-inch. But I think it might not be very accurate. There we go. That's... oh, here's another one. A warship? No, that's a transport. That's not a warship. Alright, have some fun with the torps. And go for the other ship. Who says you need 6 or 7 ships to engage a convoy? Jesus Christ. Okay. Now let's hunt down that last transport and call it a day. Transport Scharnhorst. It's already on fire, it's already flooding. Flooding is under control. Fire not so much. I wonder how it's burning down there though. That's deep underwater. So it's the rudder compartment, I guess, if there is such a thing. Where are my stern turrets looking? Over the port side. Alright, let's move a little bit off to the side and try to get the stern guns also involved. Bit more, and we knock out his entire structure. 24%. He has severe fires going. Cargo storage is destroyed. Again, cargo storage in the Naval Academy is probably nothing serious, but I imagine that if you're doing a campaign, that could be serious. Because then you might not even need to sink a complete group of transports. So long as you can damage their cargo capacity, or destroy the cargo that they're carrying, that might be enough to change the outcome of the campaign. Now that's the mission done. Fun with torpedoes. Mission complete. So I sunk 2 battleships, 6 transports, and I think damaged the light cruisers a little bit, and maybe the heavy cruiser. Mission complete. Alright. Again, this is just one of the ways that you can tackle this mission. You could go for more funds. You could go for gun and fire control and, for example, build a ship that just has a lot more guns on it. Because I could go for displacement, main guns, I could go for side guns. Oh, I can put 16-inch guns on it now, because I went for the gun upgrade. 16-inch guns. Triple barrel. But apparently that doesn't fit on this ship. The hull's too narrow. So I could fit... Maybe I can fit it on the stern. Yeah, I could fit it there. But I think the weight offset would be pretty bad. You'd need to put a lot more on the front. If you were to go full 9-inch, you might be able to get away with that. So a couple of side guns. Yeah, there we go. I could probably do that again. Then I could put a main island on it, a main tower, secondary tower over there. I need to remove these guns and put them slightly further back. Main guns, side guns, 9-inch, 3-barrel. There. These things are almost side by side there when they're in this orientation. Then you could put a couple of main battery on it. In the centerline configuration. Triple barrel. I can then go for a barbette. Another barbette maybe on the stern. No, can't do that. Unless I go for smaller caliber here. So then we'd have a barbette there. Main guns, centerline guns, 9-inch, 3-barrel there. Another one there. Another one over here. You could turn this into a right powerhouse. Unfortunately, at this point, I'm 3,000 tons overweight. So much as I would love to do that, that is not possible. Anyway, that is just a couple more of the options that this game gives you. You can do so much different stuff with this. You can have so many different ways of playing the game. Maybe you like the torpedoes like I do. Maybe you much prefer to go with heavier guns you could put 16-inch guns on a battlecruiser. And maybe you go, hey, that's all fun and good, but I prefer light cruisers. And I will just put a front tower on it and a secondary tower. And maybe a couple of main guns, but only of the 8-inch caliber. Because bigger is impossible to field. It's even quite hard to field it over here. I think it does fit. But it looks really weird. And it also begs the question, where are we going to leave the funnel? Yeah, nowhere. See, that doesn't work. But I could imagine, if you go with just a 4-inch, one on the bow, one on the stern. Oh, this thing only has underwater torpedo launchers. Yeah, it cannot fit the larger torpedo launchers like I can on the battlecruiser that I just built. So that is something that you cannot do, because I thought maybe you could build a couple of light cruisers and just go for a couple of salvos of torpedoes coming in from all different angles. But look at this, I would build 13 light cruisers. Keep in mind, right now it's not exactly optimized, and I'm not going to go into full detail on that, but these are the options that you have. I'm really looking forward to just continue to playing this game. Play more of it, have a look at what else is doing, or what else is possible, what other missions are coming up. All sorts of stuff I think would be very interesting. So we're just going to continue. More episodes coming up very soon, and hopefully sometime 2020 they're going to add the campaign. If you like the game, link down below in the description. I think it has some really, really good potential. You can build really funky ships with this. Make sure that they're optimized exactly to your liking. And just go ham. Have fun with it. And again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you guys soon for more episodes.